Hello everyone and welcome to another game from the FIDE chess Olympiad that was played online in 2020, and this is one of the games that I think should win the Brilliancy prize. FIDE contacted me alongside some other chess streamers and YouTubers and said that we should make a list of our top 3 games for the Brilliancy prize, and I published my list on Twitter yesterday, and this is the game that I think is the nicest one for the Brilliancy prize, so to say, the most inspiring game. But you can also be the judge of that. So without further ado, let's check it out. It's Italian Grandmaster Danyyil Dvirnyy versus Alexei Shirov. It's no wonder that a game, maybe qualified that may win the Brilliancy prize involves Alexei Shirov, but we should see what actually happens in the game. So without further ado, let's check it out. So Dvirnyy with the white pieces opens with d4. Sorry about that. And we have d5 by Shirov, c4 and c6. So we have the Slav defense. We have knight to f3 and knight to f6. And it's going to be quite a long main line of the Slav. We have e3, bishop to f5, and knight to c3. Black finishes the development of the cage while the bishop is out of the cage. Knight to h4 going after the bishop, and bishop to e4. f3, pushing the bishop around, the bishop back to g6, and the queen b3 now going after the b7 pawn. So all standard stuff. Queen to c7, Shirov defends the pawn, and now bishop to b2. White says that he is ready to castle queen side. Bishop to e7 and knight captures on g6 now. We have h captures and a queen side castle. Shirov continues development. We have knight b to d7, and now we have a trade on d5. Captures, and as the king is still on c1, rook to c8 is probably coming. We have a nice prophylactic move from white. King to b1. We have a6 preparing to continue pushing on the queen side with b5, and now rook to c1. And here there are 3 games that reach this exact same position, and in all of them queen to b6 was played, offering a queen trade. However, in this game, Shirov goes queen to b8, and this is a new move. So already as of move 14, we have a completely new game, and now Dvirnyy is on his own to crack the position. So what happens now? We have h4, preparing to develop on the king side with the g4 h5. Probably Shirov will castle king side, as he wants to bring this rook into the attack as well. So you should be ready, and h4 gets ready for that. We have b5. Now Shirov starts pushing on the queen side, and a4. Dvirnyy basically offers a queen trade. If captures, then you can just trade off the queens, pick up the pawn, and everything will be fine for white. However, Shirov castles here, and now he says, okay, you can even grab my pawn here, but we have castles of opposite sides, so grabbing a pawn on the side that your opponent wants to attack you isn't really the greatest way to go about it. For example, if you go after the pawn, it looks nice, looks like it's playable, but rook a6, then the queen moves, the other rook comes to a8, and you will have problems on the queen side, definitely. So here Dvirnyy decides, let's close the position on the queen side, and let's shift the attention of the game on the king side, as that's where I want to attack. So rook to c8, Shirov does get his rook into the game, and bishop to d3 now, continuing to develop pieces. g4 h5 is incoming, and Shirov, of course a great attacker himself, knows that this is coming, so he blocks the g-pawn with his queen. Queen g3, while also threatening to just pick up the base of the pawn chain. So rook c to g1 defending, and now Shirov kept the queens on the board for a reason. He wants to attack, but where is his attack? That's the question. Here he makes the attack sort of happen by playing rook to c4. And now he's preparing the other rook to come to the c file. He wants to play b4, bust open the queen side, and enjoy a very nice attack. And if you capture the rook, then d captures or b captures can be played. It's hard to say what Shirov had in mind. If d captures, first knight e2, attacking black queen as well, and after the queen returns, now the white queen moves somewhere, or even rook to c1 can be played. All in all, it's a very tricky position. Of course, Engine will hold this with white and even probably a human in a classical game, but in rapid game, and especially against an attacker like Alexei Shirov, you do not want to play white in this position. So after rook to c4, we have f4 by white. Here, the sneakiest way for white to continue his attack is actually h5. And then after pawn captures, now you kick away the queen, make room for the g pawn, and after the queen moves, now g4, and now white's attack is happening a little bit faster. But Dvirnyy goes for f4 instead, and now rook a to c8. Shirov just continues piling up on the c file. We have queen to d1, now controlling the g4 square, so rook h3 might be played, forcing a queen trade here. And now Shirov continues with b4. A very sneaky idea here was rook captures on d4. Now, if white captures, then you do get to capture this with check. For example, captures with check. However, white, of course, doesn't have to capture. White can play knight e2, and now you have problems, as now the queen and the rook are under attack. This was possible a move ago. Forgot to mention this. While the queen was still here, instead of rook 8 to c8, there was the option of going rook captures on d4. And now, for example, if knight to e2, you have the in-between rook captures on d3, attacking white's queen, but you still have to give up the exchange, and now you move the queen, and, well, it is a nice position to play with black. But okay, like we said, Shirov decided to do this maybe afterwards, so first he brings another attacker into the game, queen d1, and now, like we said, this no longer works, but now b4. Continuing the attack, the knight has to move. We have knight to e2. Here, rook to h3 is also very nice, trying to get a queen trade in. For example, queen g4, you can trade the queens, captures, and now you play bishop captures on knight captures on g4, and now bishop captures on c4, grabbing that rook, d captures, and now you move the knight. And now, again, white is very comfortable here, black has very nice pawns here, and the game continues with white being up the exchange. However, Dvirnyy doesn't like that. He first goes knight to e2, attacks the queen, gets the knight out of harm's way, queen to g4, and now knight to c1. So the knight is out of harm's way, the rook is hanging, the queen trade is being offered, and here you could do a lot of things. So you could capture the queen, you could maybe move the rook, you could do a lot of things. But you could also do the move that Alexei Shirov played, so feel free to pause the video and try to find the move Shirov played here while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on spotting the incredible knight to e4. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, this is the move that Shirov played. So offering a full queen, and if the queen is captured, then all hell just breaks loose. For example, if queen captures on g4, then you capture on d2 with the knight. Of course, this comes with check, and now it doesn't matter what you do. If king to a2, then you just allow this instant b3 with check, and now it doesn't matter what you play. If knight captures, then rook to a4 is checkmate, and if you don't capture, if you just go back, you could go here, then just rook to a4 check yet again. The knight has to block, and now rook captures on a2 is checkmate. So this is what would happen if the queen sacrifice was accepted. So of course he doesn't accept the queen sacrifice, he tries something else. Capturing the knight is actually the safest way to go about this. Just capture it, and now the queen is really undefended. So here Shirov would have to trade, you capture on e4, and the game continues here. With black having a lot of pressure on the queen side, but white should be okay. However, after this knight to e4 move, we have bishop to e2, just attacking Shirov's queen. Shirov now plays queen to f5, threatens a lot of nasty discoveries here, as the queen and king are on the same diagonal. Bishop back to d3, now blocking the nasty discoveries, and now Shirov just continues like nothing is hanging. Knight d to f6. And indeed, nothing is hanging here. You really have to be careful what you do here. There are a couple of moves you could do. Knight to b3, the safest way to go about things, as you really want to defend this bishop on d2. However, here g4 was played, as it's nicely defended twice by the rook and by the queen, but now it's actually Shirov again who is winning, so feel free to pause the video and win the game for Shirov while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on spotting the exact same queen sacrifice again. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it's knight captures on g4. You just eliminated this pawn, and now white really doesn't have a good way of continuing the game, because he just blundered a pawn and there's no good continuation. However, Dvirnyy persisted with his idea. He played rook captures on g4, probably expecting knight captures with check, queen captures, and then just queen captures rook, but Shirov of course played queen captures on g4. And now white runs into the exact same queen sacrifice, because you can't move the queen, otherwise you hang the bishop with check, and there's not much you can do here. So Dvirnyy accepted the queen sacrifice, but now knight captures on d2 with check. And again, if king a2, then b3 check, king a1, rook a4 check, everything is happening nicely. Rook captures with checkmate, the knight covers the b1 square. So, of course, after knight captures on d2 check, king to a1 was played, but now king to a1 was played, but now the problem is that only one rook is guarding the knight, so it's even faster. Rook captures with check, and it was in this position on move 29 that Danyyil Dvirnyy resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Of course, if you move the king, you're getting checkmated. If you accept a trade once, you're also getting checkmated. Again, if bishop to b1, then just rook captures with check, king a2 and b3 is checkmate. And if you don't, if you play king to a2, then just b3 is checkmate on the spot, as the bishop covers the a3 square, so you don't have an escape route here. So, after rook captures on c1, Dvirnyy resigns, and what a game and what a victory with the black pieces for Alexei Shirov. Now, it wasn't easy going through, millions of games, deciding which game to get my choice for the Brilliancy prize. That, of course, is a joke. FIDE sent me some 15 games that, caught their attention to choose from, as, most of the games are just positional snooze fests, so it wouldn't make sense to go through all of them. But very happy that they, narrowed down the list and that I was able to choose from like 15 of them. But yeah, this is the one I thought was the most interesting one. If you guys like, we could also show my choice 2 and my choice 3. But yeah, that's basically the game. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I think today or tomorrow FIDE will announce who they choose for the which game they choose for the Brilliancy prize, and maybe it will be this one, maybe it will be some other game. Either way, we're gonna show the one they choose as well. Once again, I do hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank Grant McGregor, Steven Yaffe, Mario Fabri, Wolfgang Schmidt, and Nick Vitolo for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the Morphy stuff, a saga, checking up on your wonderful suggestions, and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all, I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your Friday.